Hey, and welcome to Coder Meets Data. Today's video is going to be a coding video. We're going to focus on two technologies, one being Azure Storage, the other one being React Native. Now, being a coding video, I expect two things of you. First, I expect you to have followed the checklist in the description of this video to get yourself set up before watching this video. The other thing I expect is your participation. By the end of this video, you'll have an Android application that shows your images and you're able to scroll through it and even click on it as if it's a button for the image. So with that, what do you say? I say, let's get started, let's get coding. Alright, so I'm here inside Azure. I've already previously deployed my resource group, so we're going to put the storage account in there. So let's go into that resource group, let's go create, let's search for our storage. And then once we go storage, we're going to go down here to this one here, storage account by Microsoft. Click that, hit create, and then we're going to go through the wizard. So inside that resource group, but then we're going to fill out the name of the storage account as well. So AZ Dev, we're going to change that to Australia East because that's where we want to put it. So put in Australia East. We're going to go standard on performance, and then we're going to go locally redundant because this is just an MVP. So go review and create, and then go create. Now to move our images into there, we're going to use something called Azure Storage Explorer. So let's go and switch across to that. So this is Azure Storage Explorer. Once it's set up with your account, you should come to the subscriptions, go to the storage accounts, hit that, click refresh, and as long as it's deployed, you'll see the storage account there. So go ahead and open that, and you'll notice we've got blob containers, file shares, queues, tables. We're using blob containers for this video. So go blob containers, go ahead, create new blob container, and go images. Now this is where we're gonna put all of our files. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag and drop them in. So go here and copy them across. What you'll see is they will go and copy across to there, and you'll see them inside there. Now, the other thing we need to do is we need to set an access level. And for that, I'm going to go here, and inside of this, I'm going to go set public access level, and you'll see here public read access for blobs only. With that, we're done in Azure Storage Explorer. Let's swap to React Native and get building that code set. Well, we're finally here. This is my setup for React Native. So up the top, Visual Studio Code, down the bottom, Metro with my logs for my console, and then on the right, the emulator. So let's get coding. Here's my starter template. Go to my GitHub to go get it. But for this, we're gonna put in a gallery header. What I mean by that is we're just gonna put gallery up here, nice. So the way we do that, we're gonna add a view in, and I'm gonna make that style of that view just hard-coded to be height of 100. And that's where the text is gonna sit inside, which says gallery. So we're gonna go text, and we're just gonna go gallery. We'll notice that after we do that, we've next got to put in the imports. So text and view were the two, and then we'll see we've got gallery sitting there. It looks a little bit small, so let's go ahead and make it bigger. I'm thinking about size maybe 28, to be honest. How does that look? That looks a lot better. Let's also center it as well. So we can do that by justifying content, going center, and then we can also do align items center as well. That'll basically put it in the middle. When I hit Control S, I'm saving it and it's doing a hot reload on the side. When you go into this next, now we're gonna bring in the images. So to bring in the images, I like to create a source folder. So go here, make sure you've selected here in the gray space, go to the folder, goes SRC. Inside of SRC, go and create a services folder. And then inside the services, I'm going to put a new file, which I'm going to call API client.js. Now, API client, its job is going to be returning basically the images. So I'm going to go get images equals, and then I'm going to go open bracket, close bracket, open it up for a lambda with no parameters. And then inside of here, I'm just going to go return. And then luckily earlier I did a JSON array, which we can just use. So I'm going to go here, return, and then that's going to be my images. The next part is we're going to do the get image URL. So here, get image URL. Its job is going to be to take in an image ID. You'll see here is a parameter. And then its job is that it's going to return back that image from Azure Storage. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and just make sure that's a Lambda first, but we're going to go across to Azure Storage and then go inside here. So when you're inside Azure Storage, you should be here at the home screen. When you go here, go to the storage, then go to containers, then go to images, then open up one and go and click this copy the URL. When you go copy URL, then go back to Visual Studio Code, put that in, and then we're gonna basically substitute in the image ID by doing a $, opening a squiggly bracket, and then close squiggly bracket, and then that's put inside there. So that's our images done in terms of that helper. We are gonna need to export it. So let's just export it. So export, get images, export, get image URL. With that exported, let's go ahead and import it in our App.js. So let's go ahead and import that and import star as API client from dot/src/services/API client. Now, the way we're going to bring in the images, we're going to use state. So we're going to go const images, set images, and then we're going to go equals, use state, and then we're going to go API client, and we're going to call our images, get images function from before, and just simply do that. Now, use state comes from React, not React Native, so go here and bring that in. So you'll see that there is done. We should have no errors on the right hand side. Now we're going to go and bring them in. So first things first, I like to put a view to contain the images. So let's put one in. We're going to say flex 1 because we want it to take up the whole rest of the space. The component that we're going to use is called a flat list. Now, a flat list takes in a data feed, which is the images we want to show. And then the next thing it's going to want to need is a key extractor so it can know how to distinguish the unique identifiers for it. So to do that, I'm going to go here. I'm actually going to go underscore, and then I'm going to go index, and then I'm just going to return the index. That's that. The other thing I need to do is tell it how many initial number to render. So do that, and we're just going to make it in the images.length, so the length of the images that we have. The next part here is we've got to do the render item. Now the render item's a bit tricky because it's going to look a bit weird, but we're going to go squiggly brackets open, and then that, and then we're going to go item, and then it might not like it for the second, and that's because we haven't closed our thing yet. But we're going to go there, and then it's going to look like this. Now we're going to close off our flat list, and we see it here. Now we're going to go return. We're going to go open bracket, and this is where we're going to put in our image. So let's put in our image. Next, we're going to go style equals equals. For the moment, I'm just going to make it height 100 and width 100. The next part, actually, we'll put a border radius as well. And then the last thing I'll put on it as well is a margin, which we'll come to in a bit. So that's that. The next part we're going to do is the source, and then we're going to go equals, and then we're going to go URI, and then we're going to go the URI that we're going to take it from, which of course is going to be our API client.getImageURL, and then put in the item.name. This actually we're going to change to be index. Actually, more importantly, we're not going to bother about it because we're not going to use it. So we're just going to change that to be underscore to make that nice and clear. And then next we're going to close bracket that. And lastly, we need to bring in that image. So let's add that image into our declaration up here. And then what you should see is that on the right hand side, once you save it, you've got all those images there. Now, how do we make them look nice just to bring them onto the side? So we can do that by telling it how many columns we want. So if we go number of columns and we'll tell it to do 2, you'll notice now that we're just going to save it twice, and you'll now notice that it puts it as 2. Let's come back to that height here. We can see here that we can actually program this in. So doing a little bit of maths, we can go here and we're going to basically look at the dimensions of the screen. So to look at the dimensions of the screen, React Native has a really nice dimensions API, which you can use. So go dimensions here, and then here, I'm just going to put something which says const, and then I'm going to go height width equals dimensions dot get, and then I'm going to tell it to get the screen. Now, once I've got that, I'm actually going to use this width. So I know here that I've got a margin of 5 on either side. I also know that inside I'm going to have 5, so there's about 20. So here, when we do it, I'm going to actually take the width, I'm going to minus 20 off for my margins, and then I'm going to divide it by 2 because I've got 2 images there. So let's do that, and then we want it to be the same on either side. So we're just going to copy that in. And then what you should notice is that you've got your gallery sitting right there. You'll notice when I can interact with it, I can scroll up and down. You might be wondering, how do I make them actually buttons as well? So why don't we go ahead and do that? So to do that, we're going to go in here, and we're going to go, opacity, touchable display, I think it is. I'm just double checking. So we go touchable, opacity, display here. And then once we've done that, we're just going to wrap the image inside of that. And then we're just going to reload. It's just refreshing now. And now what you should notice is you can go and click them, and they're like buttons. You can also go on press. And then what we'll do is we'll just tell it to basically be open brackets, and then we might just go console log and then the item name. And then what you'll see here is when I click it, you'll see that it's going to output that name that I had before. And with that, you've got your simple little gallery that's showing the dishes spread out in that flat list control that we're using to render it for all of those images inside of there. And that's basically our React Native done talking to Azure Storage with React Native. Well, that's it. I hope you got there. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button and watch this space for more Azure and React videos. This is Coder Meets Data signing out. I'll see you in the next one.